without further ado, I'll now hand over to the National President of Sathya International Organization Australia, Ms. Jenny Monson, who will do the welcome to the Office Bearer Orientation Program. Jenny?
Om Sai Ram. Thank you, Bhagavan, and I bow to the divinity in each one of you. Special thanks to all of you for attending today and also for taking up your role as an office bearer in Swami's divine and sacred organisation. It's a real blessing and a privilege for all of us to have this opportunity. And this orientation program we've had in Australia now for many years. It's typically been held as a face-to-face program in either Melbourne or Sydney. Last term, for the first time, it was held with a combination of online sessions and sessions in Melbourne and Perth. The plan for this year was to have a combination of online and face-to-face sessions in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne and Perth. However, with the travel issues and restrictions on gatherings, we decided it was actually safer to plan for an online program. So there are 14 modules in the program, focusing on the teachings that Swami has given us to fulfill our roles as leaders in his organisation, and also information about the organisation itself that we have committed to. So this is our opportunity for us to come together in this way and to focus on Swami's teachings and his organisation. This first module is on the Sai avatar, his life and teachings, and we are very blessed today to have as our presenter Professor Suresh Govind from Malaysia. Suresh has been in the organisation for many years and held many positions, including National Council President of Malaysia. He is currently the chair of the Scriptural Studies Committee in SSSIO and is also on the International Committee for Public Outreach. So he's made enormous contributions to Swami's organisation over many years, and we're very blessed to have him with us today. So without further ado, Suresh, I welcome you warmly to Australia and ask you to offer us this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Jenny. A very, very good, well, for us this evening, and maybe, yeah, very good evening to all of you. Sai Ram, and by the infinite grace, love and compassion of Bhagavan Baba, we have come for this induction program, leadership induction program. Firstly, let me congratulate all of you for willing to accept this position. It's the most prestigious position, most honorable position, because we have been given the mandate to lead souls to God. That itself is, and that to the avatar of the Kali Yuga. So it is not by accident that you were chosen. It is not that we thought we could do it. It is that he himself decided that you should hold the post. And so this is a very, very privileged, very honored, and very, very humble opportunity for us to become closer to Bhagavan. Number two, I held the first position 1986 as Deputy National Youth Coordinator, and since then have been holding positions center level, state level, and then, as what Sister Jenny said, the National Council President, and then into various posts. So holding position and contributing in this manner is really something, it's our life, last 30 years, 35 years. So what does it take to become in the organization? What does it take? What are you expected to do? And at the same time, now that I've got into this role, how am I supposed to perceive life? Yeah, that's it. Perceive life, perceive my duty, perceive the way in which I should manage myself, and not only myself, but the people whom I lead. So therefore, this topic, the first module, I'm very honored and humbled by when the President, Sister Jenny, asked me to do this, and thank the Council for having the confidence to deliver this. on the first topic. So I just want to tweak a little bit and do a little bit else. Can you please, yeah, okay, next slide, yeah. So understanding the concept, so I'm just going to turn it a little bit. Yes, I am going to talk about the leadership, life and teachings of Bhagavan Baba, but in what context should we do this? Understanding the concept of leadership expected by Bhagavan Baba by understanding his life and his teachings. That's what we're going to do now. So really speaking, this picture is a very nice picture. It shows an arrow, it shows a direction, and it shows the leader. And strangely, this leader is dressed in orange as well. So meaning to say, if we have taken the pose, then we are supposed to lead. And we are supposed to be leading in from the front. And so this is what it is. So this picture is a very nice picture. I always like this picture to show this. Okay, next one. Next line. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to talk about Bhagavan, his purpose and mission, the central core teachings, his life and works. And from here, we're going to extract, okay, what is it that he's trying to show? What is it from his life that we can learn so that we can include or incorporate that in our leadership role that we have taken. Okay, next one. Yeah, next. Yeah, so who is Bhagavan? Who is Sathya Sai Baba? Next. Next, yeah. Next slide. So, oh, sorry, before this, just okay. So Swami Satyanarayana Ruaju was born on the 23rd of November 1926 in Puttaparthi. This is the day where Swami was born in this period. So every time when we say how old are you, it's not about how when Swami was born, but when was Swami born in our hearts. So that's really the age. So that means to say our divine age is probably the time when we first came into the organization and started believing in Bhagavan and started following his teachings. Then that's the first age. That's age 1, 0, and then 0, 1, 2, 3. So we may be 50 years old, but if you know Bhagavan for 20 years, then that's a spiritual age, 20 years. So for a very young age, Sathya was a compassionate child, ideal student with incredible, extraordinary spiritual wisdom. And I'm sure those of you who are passionate would have known by now some of the amazing miracles that he has performed. On the 20th of October 1940, he made a very historic declaration at the age of 14. So this is the what you call date in which we celebrate the Avatar Declaration Day, where he declared why he has come for. Okay, I want to go to the next one, and this is the interesting part, which will be very relevant to our. So lessons to learn. Now, click the first one. Next, just click. Yes. Okay. So this is the first one. No, don't click. Yeah, just first one will do. So the first one is at the age of 10. This is a very powerful leadership role. At the age of 10, Bhagavan organizes a Pandari Bhajan group with his boys, with his group of people from the village. Bhajan, what is the big deal in leadership? You can just call a few people and do it. But no, the idea is that the most important quality of a leader is to see what are the things that are needed. How do you galvanize the force? How do you bring forth innovative ideas to change the life of people? So you looked around and saw all these children. Okay, how do I do? So bring them all together. And for us to go to Bhajan, don't forget, we just take a car or a bus drops us. We can take a train or anything like that. But they walked, and it's not just small distances, it was miles, the children walked, and so they all will come and Sathya will lead, and they form this Pandari Bhajan group, and there the group started. And so he was going around singing songs, and then parents started to send children, they will collect, and they will buy a little bit of oil, little bit of, those kind of utensils and things like that for the sake of the bhajan. So the group expanded. So in other words, this tells me, hey, Swami, at the age of 10, my God, you used innovative ways of spreading the message. So as a leader, as Sai leader, now that I've come into the center, I've taken up role position. The message you're giving me, Bhagavan, use innovative ways of spreading the message. Make more and more people to become engaged. The same group, and then he utilized it also for drama, for what do you call it, performances. So he managed to bring more and more people into this. So that was how the group expanded. So it was a very powerful, at the age of 10, an amazing leadership quality that he demonstrated. He started to become a nucleus in which he brought people in together. And that, as a leader, we should also try and emulate, because we need to bring people and we need to be excited about what we believe, and we must make sure that, in fact, the what do you call it, the interest becomes infectious, where more and more people participate in what we believe in. Next one. Click. So then you find this is called, then when cholera spread, Puttaparthi became free from cholera, and largely many people attributed this because a lot of bhajan songs and prayer, and they said that the vibrations was so pure that cholera was spared. So one key critical point here is that if you want to spread anything, you want to make other people do, the best way is to be, do, and tell. Be, do, see, and tell. What does it mean? It means that wherever you are, that place there must become a role model example of what we are trying to do. So a lot of parents started to send children to join the group because they saw the impact of the bhajan, and so the group started to expand. You see, it is that initiative that started at the age of 10 when it started to spread, and so far along the way, villages started to adapt, what you call districts, and then country, and then now the whole world, 110 countries all over the world is now having groups of people singing. Started something small, and it showed its impact, and the thing started to spread. So it gives me a clear message. Oh, Bhagavan, you're such a good teacher. You're trying to say, find out what is relevant, innovatively spread the message, and expand in this way. That is the role of a leader. So this is what Bhagavan teaches, just in a simple way, how we demonstrated that. Next. Then another amazing lesson is that, click, next. Yeah, next. Yeah, next is very resourceful. And you know, from the life story of Swami's, he washes his own clothes, and he was not having, he's not comes from a wealthy family. So he's extremely resourceful. Where other children expend, he doesn't. He takes time and trouble to take all the way to walk and come back. So as a leader, one of the most important thing is that be resourceful. Work with what you have. If, for example, if you have 15 people or 25 people, 30 active people in your organization, then my job is to be resourceful, use the 30, motivate the 30, and get what the objective is or what the vision is. So there are some people who will say, oh, if I had lots of people, I have to come. Actually, it's not necessary to have lots of people. Whatever number of people whom you have, how we can galvanize our force, work on the minimum, give out the maximum. And that is what our teacher taught us. Just by his small little examples that he showed, he demonstrated this particular thing, resourceful. And the next one is that, and the most amazing quality here is idealistic. So a leader, if you've taken a role as a leader, have ideals. There's a strong difference between goal and ideal. A goal is, I need to be a millionaire by the age of 45. Okay, that's a goal. I need to buy 3 houses by this age. Okay, that's a goal. Ideal is whatever happens. Okay, there's a navigating compass that an ideal in which my life can hinge on. For example, in Swami's case, he had from very young, he did that play which says, do what you speak, act according to what you feel and think, and that drama to demonstrate to the elders that sometimes we are not acting the way we should act, and we are somehow or other speaking and thinking differently. So that itself became the first message, early messages to the people, that we should have integration of heart, head, and hands, and he demonstrated by life example. So this means that as a leader, if you have taken this role, people will be watching us. So number two, once people are watching us, it's good also. Why? Then it puts us on a check, and we need to become idealistic. We need to aspire for that idealism, and we need to live that ideals, because we will be motivating our people through the ideals, because Bhagavan said, my darshan will flow to you and through you to the world. So through us, through our actions, people will be able to see who we are and what we are. So these are all simple lessons. If you read Satyam Shivam Sundaram, a leader should read some of these daily little stories there that gives you some amazing insights into what kind of leadership qualities that we should take by following some of the examples that he himself has said when he was a young boy. Okay, next. One of the qualities, the moment you have accepted to be a leader, you have to be a good juggler. And Swami himself, in his young, he was good in sports. He was a dancer. He could act very well. He sang very well. He organized many multiple roles. So he started juggling. And so this is, and you have very little choice but to learn how to be a good juggler. So juggle means you have to juggle your career, you juggle your family commitments, juggle. So that's all. It's just a question of practicing, and then slowly you'll find that you are capable of doing it. Initially, when you're starting, you might feel a little stressful, but please do not worry. But this is a question of just learning how to juggle. Like you ask this guy, how is it that he's able to juggle 5, 6 apples? He will say, I was juggling with 1 or 2 first. I practiced that, then I put another apple. So I kept on juggling. The more and more I juggle, I got used to it. So it's a question of juggling your commitment, juggling your thing, making sure that each one receives your attention. So it's necessary. But sometimes in some places you find some period where too heavily committed to something, then it's important as a leader also to know how to manage time. And you can only manage time if you know how to manage your breath, and you can only manage your breath when you manage your thoughts. So therefore it goes back to the management of thought, breath, and time, which are the 3 fundamental human resources given to us. Personality management is management of time, management of thought, management of breath. So the moment you have taken the role of a leader, it is implicitly telling us that we need to do our daily meditation, some quiet time. Because why? Because now we're managing other people. We're managing other people's thoughts. So for us to manage other people's thoughts, other people's emotions, we also need to be more and more steady. So if you're standing by the river bank, you can watch the river passing by. So when the river of emotions pass by, we must not get swept in the river. There must be a sense of detachment coming inside. So learn how to be a juggler as well. So this is what from Swami's life story, we can say that he was very, very good in everything that he did. So next one. Okay, so therefore there are 2 types. One would like to be a manager. Manager means you just manage what previous leaders did, and you just manage. So just manage the budget, manage the meditation, just manage management. If you're just managing, then you are a manager. But Swami said, I want you to be leaders like the lion in the forest. Why did he say lion means the king of the forest? So what's the difference between a leader? Leader pulls people right from the front. It's not managing, it's leading. A leader can be a good manager, but a manager need not be a good leader. There's a difference. So leader means we need to pull. Therefore, so in Swami's all his work, which he has done from the start till the end, he always led from the front, not from pushing. He just led from the front, asking, and then he was very, very meticulous in various things that he does. So telling us also to be right on ground. We cannot push everything and then make people do things, but we need to be on the ground. People must see us doing this, and we must pull from the front. Okay, so this is a leadership. This diagram is good because it demonstrates the difference between a leader and a manager. Next. So Swami said, I'm no longer your Sathya, I'm Sai. I do not belong to you. I have my work. My devotees are calling me. I am going. I can no longer stay here. So this was the declaration that he made on the 20th October 1940 when he declared that Bhagavan is who he is. And this was the most historic moment for the entire humanity. Next. So now this is the 3 statements. I really feel and I really think seriously these 3 statements are what we call the Mahavakyas. The real 3 statements, the 3 mission statements of Bhagavan. Bhagavan himself wrote the letter on the 25th of May 1947 to his brother. He said, I have a task to foster all mankind and ensure for all of their lives are full of bliss. Then he said, I have a vow to lead all who stray away from the right path into goodness and save them. And then he said, I'm attached to work that I love, to remove the sufferings of the poor and grant them what they lack. Seriously, all leaders who are taking positions, you just remember these 3 missions, what I call the mission statements of Bhagavan. This mission statement must be planted in our heart. So Bhagavan said, I have a task. What's your task, Bhagavan? To foster all mankind and ensure all of their lives are full of bliss. So which means I'm also part of his mission. So that means to say, Swami is saying my task is to spread Ananda. Then as a leader, I must be happy. I must be Ananda, and I must give peace and happiness to who I come. This is my first task. So I must look at my life and see and increase my happiness. And happiness really does not depend upon anything depending upon external, but we have an internal reservoir that we can now depend upon, where we can take our happiness and share it with the rest of the world. So when we do this, Bhagavan, Swami, I'm your task force. Wow. Bhagavan is the taskmaster and we are his task. We are the team of task members. Swami, I am now your member of your team. Why? Because I want to feel happy all the time and I want to give happiness to everybody. If I do this now, that means I'm part of your mission. Then Swami said, I have a vow to lead all who stray away. So if I spend my life transforming myself, I become less angry from now on. I now decide to become less envious and less jealous. I now decide to do more exercise and transform my health into a better state. I eat moderately. I sleep well. And so when I start to do this, and not only I do this, even I try and help other people to transform. Wow, Baba, I'm part of your wow. I'm your wow factor to stray away from the right path. Those who are straying, I try and help them back to come again. So this becomes a mission statement that from my life onwards, whatever wrong, I try and help to correct the situation. Then Bhagavan said, I'm attached to work. Oh, that means to say, if I'm part of his work, he will be with me. Then what do? I remove the sufferings of the poor and grant them from what they lack. So that means I also spend my life serving people, helping people. I'm part of him. I'm part of his work. So every devotee and every leader should keep these three statements as from their hearts, because this mission statement is enough for us to redeem our life. And that's all we need to remember. So now when you're a leader, or if you're a leader of a center, if you're taking a regional position, you must, is my center moving towards, is my center members, all my center members are happy? Are they moving towards greater happiness? Are they doing more and more selfless work? Are they transforming? How do I know they're transforming? If I ask these questions, I'm fulfilling Bhagavan's mission words written on the 25th of May, 1947. You see, that's how the leadership role becomes powerful. Yeah, next one. Next, thank you. Next. So what is his purpose and mission? Okay, now this is how I have come to light the lamp of love in your hearts, to see it shine, and by day with added luster. I have not come to speak on behalf of any particular religion. I have not come on any mission of publicity for any sect, creed or cause, nor have I come to collect followers for any doctrine. I have no plan to attract disciples or devotees into my fold or any fold. I have come to tell you about this unitary faith, this Athmic Principle, this path of love, this duty of love, this obligation to love. So these are all powerful words. Now, the most important thing is, because being the chair of the scriptural studies, every line must make a meaning. Now, in this case, for us, is leadership. How do I take this message and make myself a good leader? How do I do this? So next, I will now help you to. I'll help to translate or some of these things into some leadership attributes. See, next one, next slide. Okay, Swami said, light the lamp. So Swami said here that he has come to light the lamp of love in your hearts. Meaning, that's it. He has come to light the lamp. So now, from now on, I must say, oh Bhagavan, am I becoming more loving? Because this lamp of love is in my heart. Am I supposed to become more and more loving? As a leader, my love, Swami I must experience love, and people must experience the love of Swami through me. So am I having that? Is my love becoming more and more unconditional? No reason for love, no season for love. No, reason means unconditional love. No time, not morning I'm having more love, evening. So I'm finding that my love is now becoming very powerful. This is a very powerful thing. That means when I come into a leadership role, I should be expected to fulfill this ideal. That means I try and become more and more. And there's no necessity, as long as I aspire to be, we have no problem. People will be very motivated and they go. So this is one line. So this one line I've translated to the fact that Bhagavan, from today onwards, I will have more and more love in my heart. Okay, next one. This is the first statement. Now, second, Swami, to see that it shines day by day with added luster. This love must grow. So everything, that means what I'm saying is, from every day, my enthusiasm must become more and more. My inspiration must become more and more. I find I've got more zeal, more life into the whole thing. I'm not bored. I'm not dull. Everything, every day, my leadership is becoming more and more. My brightness is becoming more and more, and people can see the effulgence. So therefore, I've added luster day by day. This is how we should translate this. That means when I'm doing my work, I do it with 100%. I must have a possession. I must have an obsession. Bhagavan, this is what your life you are, and that is what I must now aspire to be. So like that, if you get into the role, you'll find a joy. This incredible next 4 years that you're holding the position, whatever number of years you're holding the position, you'll find it's one of the most brilliant aspects and million phases of your life. It's an incredible journey, and it's a wonderful, wonderful journey to see that it shines day by day with added luster. Next one. I have not come to speak on behalf of any particular religion. I have not come on any mission of publicity. All this Swami said. What does it mean? Bhagavan, I must now hold you as a flower. I must hold the flower, and the fragrance must spread throughout the world. This simple statement means I should not be chauvinistic and crush Swami like this. Only you must believe in Bhagavan. You have to believe in Swami. So we move away from chauvinism to Sai love. It doesn't matter whichever religion. Swami Baba said, I have not come, so therefore, I've come to foster the roots of all religion. Means as a leader, I should become very universal in my attitude. I should love all religions for that matter. I should take the values in all religion and see whether it echoes with what Baba is saying. So this is the beautiful flower that I must hold in my hand and not crush it like chauvinistic. And make sure eyesight, it's not like that. So we expand our consciousness. This is what this statement is letting me know. It's an important quality for a leader to hold. Next. Then Swami said, Athmic Principle. The moment he said this Athmic Principle, it already implies that if I continue to live in this world, trapped by body, mind, and intellect, it'll be jail. So Athmic means limitation. So this leadership role helps me to discover what? My Ayar Hatma. So my meditation, my ability to experience divinity. I must now experience unconditional love. So this gives me a chance to go more and more within and experience the Athmic Principle. And the last one that Swami mentioned is that next. I mean, all this is from the same statement. Swami said, this path of love, this duty of love, all about love. So those who take leadership role, in my experience, I will tell you, sometimes people will criticize you, sometimes people will praise you. Now our sadhana is to keep it steady. So I always say, if people throw stone, you can have two choices. Take the stone. There are some people who build a wall around them. Oh, I will not go to the center. They sit like this and I have got difficulty. And then I get into center politics and this and that. So this is building wall. The secret of life is if people throw stone, use it to build a bridge and connect to people, connect to vision, connect. So the stone throwing is good. So the more and more people say this or say something, don't get ruffled and don't get affected. Oh, Bhagavan, I'm doing it for you. Praise and blame. I should not get affected. That steadiness must start coming inside. So we won't be chanchala. We will be very steady in our even output. You'll find inspiration all the time inspired. So this is so now what have I done? I have taken 4 ideals from that entire statement and translated that into leadership attributes. This is how we should do as a leader. We should read everything that Bhagavan writes, and then see what is relevant to me. In what role, in the role that I'm playing, how is it going to play a part? This is what we should try and make an impression. Next one. Okay, so Swami said, you will learn that I'm love itself, that I only give one thing, bliss through love. My task is to distribute solace, courage, and peace. That is to say, my characteristics are the ancient, authentic ones. Only the manifested form is new. These I manifested, but my whole purpose is to give you bliss, give you ananda and all. So more and more reverence we must have, more and more connectivity we must have with our teacher, more and more love we must have with our teacher. That is the primary the connectivity we can have as a leader is to be completely become aware and soak that Swami is the doer. I am not the doer. Swami is oh Bhagavan. So if somebody blame, oh Swami, this is you. You are the doer. You are the. So when you have that kind of attitude, you'll be very detached to many things. You'll find that doesn't matter because what do you want as a leader? I want by the time I finish my life, I should get liberated. That's it. I want my liberation. So one way of which I can get liberated is through this position. So this position and the roles, that leadership role is the gateway for my own liberation. So once I take that, I accept everything. So this is what this whole thing, Bhagavan is giving us a chance to experience his bliss and his prema. Next. So now comes to his teachings, and through his teachings, many of you know, some of you, I'm sure, must be accustomed. So I'll go through this fast. Next one, click. So This is nice. This is one. Okay, this is very good. My life is my message. Expansion is my. This must be the leadership mantra. My life is my message. Expansion is my life. Expansion. Expansion means everything. Whatever that I'm taking, whatever that I do, there must be an expansion. Expansion in what terms, Bhagavan? I'm a leader now. I've taken this role. So, Swami, you said your life is my message. Agreed. What should expand? So, click. So I must expand, for example, click. Yeah, quality of programs must increase, which means to say once I have taken the role of a leader, yes, 2-3 years ago we did this program. Now you must ask, is it so necessary that you must do it the same way? Can we now increase the quality of the program? Can it be far more reaching to other people? Can I increase the way? How do I engage more and more members into that program? Can I engage with the public? How new innovative ways should I add in? What better transformational opportunities can I bring? When I ask these questions and it expands, my life is my message, expansion is my life. If I have done this program 2 times and 3 times and I continue doing it, it becomes ritual. Same program, I'm doing it for the last 10 years, same thing, same way, it's a ritual. But if a leader, innovative leader, if I go inside and if I start to look at it, I want to see, okay, 3 times we did this, but is there another way of doing it? Can we now engage more people? If the leader starts asking this, you're fulfilling that my life is my message, expansion is my life. And why would you think like that? Because Atma always thinks like that. Atma is always giving and giving. So once we are connected with Atma, you'll find that we will want to do more things, better things, increased way of connecting to people and doing more wonderful things. Next. So know thyself. True education is that which you are related to and helps you realize the true meaning of I. That is the true meaning of the self. This is how we need to realize who we are, and the entire journey is, the entire leadership journey is to know thyself. Next. So do not limit divinity in a small frame. God is infinite and vast. Widen your vision, make your love expand to cover the whole humanity. So our purpose is that through the role, not only I should expand my love, I should make sure I give opportunities to other members also to experience their love. So technically, as a leader, we should make sure everybody else is also experiencing that love. Next. The human values, yes, peace, truth, love, all the 5 values, you know. So basically in all our, as a leader, in our incorporating every aspect of our human values in all our actions. So as a leader, we cannot get annoyed, or if we get annoyed, we should not be looking angry. We should be calm all the time, polite. So we must become the embodiment of human values, and we must make sure that we don't try and yeah, once in a way we do this, but then we quickly, I'm sorry, the other day I shouted, but it's okay. Please forgive me. Let's go on. So things like that. We're very conscious of our 5 values. Next. So again, unity, we spoke about this, where we spoke about how we should become Sai love, not Sai chauvinistic, where we must become very, very universal in our in all faith. We must understand. So people know that those followers of Bhagavan Baba are very universal in their outlook. Next. And then sealing of desire. So whatever, we are not people who spend a lot, we spend very little. Either like what Swami did, resourceful, they live on the barest minimum and then achieve many things. So this is also something that leaders must try and cultivate and encourage others as well, so that we save money, we save food, we save energy, always very conscious about these things in our own day-to-day living. Next. It's life and works, yeah. So next. Okay, so as you know, Bhagavan himself, right from young, all the time, this life is always dedicated for selfless service. So Bhagavan's life is dedicated for service. So we also must be conscious that all the time, 24/7, life is full. Our life also should be redeemed through performing selfless service. Next. So 3 wishes of his mother. So one of the visions that he had was educare, medicare, social care. His mother wanted him to build a school. He built the university and colleges, healthcare for the villages, then medicare, clean drinking water for villages, social care. I just want to say in this edition, see, one of the things about a leader is a vision. The leaders must have good vision. So if you're having a center and what is the vision that you have? Because everybody will be driven by a vision that you possess. For example, give you a good example. Sometimes in certain localities and all that, you'll have lots of people who are, the depression levels are going up and things are becoming very, so maybe you may have a speaker who very professional speaker. So you use the center, invite members of the public to come to the center, get a professional person who can speak about keeping good mental health. They get connected. So you're using the center as a means of spreading the very good, powerful messages, motivational messages, and good health messages to the people. So in that way, the center people recognizes the activities, recognizes the center. So things like that. So which means to say, what Baba did was, he didn't confine. Spirituality is not about confining it to a ritual and yajna homa. No, we need to look out and see what are the relevant issues of society and then become an answer, if possible, to make things happen for the sake of betterment. That's leadership. That means to say you're taking your role into another possibility, another dimension. And that is another one that you need to include, which means to say, technically, the day-to-day matters are all right, but you have another component in which, like what Baba did, look at the relevant issues and see whether we can respond to the relevant issues. Next. So these are 3 wishes of this mother. And each of these has got a separate story. The time is too short for this. Education. So this Swami started a school, should not be just for information. So all around the world, we have schools in many parts of the world. And we are following this Educare principle in transforming education meant for transformation. Next. So Medicare, again, medical, university, like that. One of the other qualities that you see in the leadership quality that I would like to highlight is that the school, high hospital, obviously Bhagavan must have thought about it. He must have had for so long, but he did it. The entire hospital came up about in 7 months, which means to say, Professor Krishlov in UK said, he's the royal architect, was also involved in this project. He said, what takes 7 years to do a hospital of this magnitude in BBC in London or in UK? Took only 7 months to build here. So another quality is that speed. A spiritual person must have speed, must be able to do things and must be able to do it fast. That means to say we must fast. There means your time. So if you want a project that can take, say, 7 months, 8 months, Sai should try and see whether we can achieve certain things in a shorter frame. This is the leadership a role model example that Bhagavan gave. Big programs like this can be achieved in short time. How can we do this in a shorter time? So that enthusiasm must be there. Next. Medicare. Next. Social care, then all the work that is done, water projects and things like that, with so many projects that Bhagavan did for the welfare of the people. It immediately tells me whatever that I want, whatever society needs, I should also be able to see how our group can provide this. So this is an example, an inspirational example that Baba himself did out of experience. Next. So now SSSIO International Organization. Next. To help man, what is the purpose of the organization? To help man recognize the divinity is inherent in him. Simple. So the whole purpose is that helping man to become divine. So our duty is to emphasize the oneness, to experience one in all. Do not give any importance to differences of religion or sect or status. Have the feeling of oneness permeate. So the whole emphasis is to see everything as one, and to recognize that each of us are supposed to be divine. This is the purpose of the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization. This is what these exact words from Swami's discourse. Next. Now, I have a little small formula that we can easily follow. You know the word rise to the occasion. So a Sai leader must rise to the occasion. You know, every Sai leader must rise to the occasion. So I've got a simple formula. I think it's easy to follow. So the moment I become a leader, I must go to the RISC, rise. So the R stands for relevance. Means we must become relevant. Our center must become relevant in the society. Our group, our vision must become relevant to the country. Our people, we must become, as leaders, we must become more and more relevant to our people whom we are following. So which is the missing piece? We look for the missing piece and become relevant. So key factor is, we want to rise. Question we always ask is, am I relevant? Okay, next one. Next, then I is influence. See, in all the books, in the leadership books that you have, one amazing quality of a leader is ability to influence. And this is nice. I like this because it's like a magnet. When you have an influence, you'll be able to attract. Bhagavan, using the Pandari Bhajan group, was relevant. He started the book because it was relevant. People enjoyed, people came inside and they started a group. And the influence was amazing. Bhagavan himself was so radiant with love. Everybody wanted to be with him. So he has a very powerful capability to cause influence. A leader must have the ability to influence, ability to say the right things, ability to connect to people. So one of the qualities is also influence. Or if we cannot, then we can connect to people, other people who are also able to bring more and more quality to our programs and quality to the people. So our I is influence. S. Whatever that we do, we must be significant. That means to say, at the end of the day, like, for example, just a simple bhajan, and I showed you example where they declared Puttaparthi free of cholera and attributed that for the bhajan vibration. So like that, whatever that we do, is it significant or not? Because we don't want to do plus another one. No, whatever that we do, there is an added value. We're adding value to the whole thing. So are we adding value to whatever that we are doing? Are we as a result in the last 4 years, is the center gone another level higher? Is it increasing in terms of its numbers? Are we doing more innovative programs? So significant things. The significance is a very important quality of a good leader. And lastly, a leader who steps into the thing must be enthusiasm. Always passionate, very great. We can move people to any degree if you're enthusiastic. So you must have E part, enthusiasm. So when you have rise, where you have relevance and you have the influence and you be significant and you're very enthusiastic about the work that you're doing or passionate about the thing, one amazing thing that can happen is, next one is that finally these 4 things, you combine it together, you'll get inspirational. So this is what inspiration is all about, being very relevant, very into, what do you call it, causing influence and then causing enthusiasm and the passion, and at the same time, at the height of it, when you combine all of this, you become inspirational. So leader is inspirational, is need not be very great oratory speakers and all that, but just by simple actions, simple thing, people can see who we are and what we can do and do our level best and dedicate everything to Bhagavan. Next. So this is a nice acronym. So the 3 questions I like to leave with you at this point of time is, number 1, at the end of your role, by learning teachings and by understanding what Bhagavan Baba's life is, what is the consequence of your spirituality to you, family, and society? This is a very important question at the end of the journey. What is it that, okay, I know Baba, so what? What is that knowing of Bhagavan? What is the consequence of that to me, to my family, and my society? There are people who don't know Swami, or there are people who are not spiritual. Then what is the difference between consequence and not? So this is what it's an amazing question to ask, and keep on asking this question. You find that it'll be driven, and when you're driven, you drive others as well. What is the consequence of your spirituality to you, family, and society? Next one. What has been your contribution you can leave behind? At the end of 4 years or at the end of 2 terms, you're going to leave behind. What has been your significant contribution that you? So which part of it has changed? What is it that has influenced? So this is another point to focus. And then you'll find that it will always give a direction to our own leadership direction, so that everything that we do must be in tandem with Swami's vision. And so the whole organization will grow. Third one. How close have I come to Swami by playing the role I have been given in the organization? This is not about our own superiority. This is not about our own, but just for the sake of joy, how to get closer and closer to Bhagavan. Valmiki wrote the Ramayana, and Narada told him that your Valmiki is okay. Sorry, your Ramayana is okay, but the one that Narada has written is fantastic. So Valmiki got a little bit upset. He went all the way to find Hanuman and asked him, show me your Ramayana. And then he wrote this Ramayana in the leaf. And he read the Ramayana, it seems, and he said, my God, if they read your Ramayana, nobody will read my Ramayana, Valmiki said. So Hanuman immediately tore the entire leaves, the leaves where the words were written, he tore it. And after tearing, Valmiki was surprised. He said, why did you tear it? It's such a beautiful piece. I'm saying to you that it's so amazing. So he said, never mind. You see, you wrote the Ramayana because you needed validification. You needed proof that you can write, or you needed validifications. But whereas when I wrote it, I just wrote it for the sake of love. So when I wrote it for the sake of love, it will become connected. It will be the best piece. So, and now when you say it like that, so I'm detached to my work as well. I think it was a very powerful story that keeps running in the mind, in the sense that how to work for Bhagavan. Work in the best way. Dedicate all actions to him, and just do it for the sake of fun, not for the sake of name or for the sake of fame. Just do it for the sake of fun and come closer and closer to Bhagavan, because that is the best gift and the best grace that we can have. And by the time you finish, you turn around, yes, it has gone slightly better, Baba. I tried my level best, but that is all that I could do. Little bit. I dedicate all this to you, Swami, and I hope I have some place. I hope whatever that I have done gain something for the organization, for self, family, society, nation, and may my soul be redeemed by my worthy actions for yourself. So if I have that kind of aspiration, we will be very detached, very happy, very enthusiastic, and full of joy and happiness. My time is, I'm supposed to give 10 more minutes for question and answers. So I've just stopped exactly at 2:50. Thank you so much. Saira.
Sairam, Suresh, thank you so much for that wonderful exposition of the qualities of leadership in Swami's organisation. I can't see any questions in the chat box as yet. People have probably been listening too hard. But there's one question that I've heard come up from time to time. People have said to me, look, I don't want to take on an office bearer or a leadership position because I don't like politics. I'm wondering if you could please give some insight into how we can be good leaders. For me, politics, if we get political, it's about power and manipulation. But how can we be good leaders and act dharmically and avoid that type of politicking? Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Then if I am agreeable to that, if that philosophy is followed, then you should also not be working in your office. You should not be working in your school. You should not be going into a material world and working anywhere, because the whole world is filled with politics, with manipulation, with everything else. So there is no place that has been spared by this, contaminated by this politics. So the story that comes into my mind is when the priest asked this boy, when he came to the temple, why have you stopped coming to the temple? He said, hey, the temple is a very horrible place. A lot of people are talking and they all are gossiping and their noise is great. It distracts me from my spirituality. I'm not interested to come to a temple anymore. So the priest said, okay, you take this tumbler of water, a glass of water, and the water is so full. So now I want you to walk around the temple, make sure the water doesn't spill. So this boy walks around the temple 3 times and comes back, and the priest takes the glass. So he said, did you notice any person gossiping? He said, no. Did you find anybody talking and so on? No. So where was your focus? He said, my focus is on the water that does not spill. So there you are. The point of the story is that everywhere in this world, you will find contamination. The question is, even in that particular thorny place, can we still see purity? Can we remain intactness? So you will find, as long as we're interacting with human beings, there will be all kinds of characters and all sorts of people around us. But are we able to retain our purity and spread that purity and correct people if they are needed to be corrected, or have a kind of system inside us so that we are spiritually become unattached to these things and focus on the goal? That's how so when you take on a role, it gives you a lot of that stamina and strength. And in the first instance, you are not doing it. It is he who is doing it. Who asked? That's why I always tell people, when you want to take a role, brother, I cannot do it. Who asked you to take the role? Nobody asked you to take the role. Let Bhagavan take the role, but he just needs your form. So when you surrender the doership, you will never see any of these things. And mind you, 35 years I'm in the organization. I've never reduced my speed. I've never reduced my enthusiasm. Even when I step down also, I have now become 2 times more active. So I've been all the time, because I realize now in this world, they'll always, in a muddy, dirty environment, that is where the lotus will grow. That is why lotus are supposed to grow in muddy, dirty environment. But the mud and the dirt should not stick onto the lotus. It is only in such lotuses that goddesses are supposed to rest on it. So the divinity will rest on us if we are not affected and unattached to these things.
Thank you, Suresh. You mentioned about surrendering the doership. Can you give us a little bit more, information about how you do that?
Yeah, whatever things that we are doing, see how we do it is that you do whatever you do the best. Like Malaysia had an opportunity to stage 12 dramas. And I was blessed, graced also to write these 12 dramas and stage productions and bring the whole team. So in our productions that we do, many things will go wrong. So first 2 productions, I remember I was really stressed up. Everything that you plan doesn't go well. Then only I realized the formula. The formula is let go. Do your best, surrender. Do your best, surrender. He is the one who's doing it. So when you come and orientate yourself to understand that the divine is just using you as a tool to achieve it. So you literally become a pencil. Allow him to hold it and write whatever he wants to write. So you will become very unattached. And how do you know you're becoming attached? Very simple. Somebody tells you, Suresh, I think the play was lousy, and you feel very depressed and affected. That means you're attached to the work. So, oh, Suresh, the play was fantastic. And look at yourself. See whether you're elated or praised or you feel very high. If you're going up, then doership comes in. So whenever you do anything in the world, become detached, you find that the mind will become more and more ready for deeper contemplation and meditation. So the best thing in life is opportunities are given. All these opportunities are for us to refine and fine tune the mind in order for us not to become attached to this passing illusory world.
Thank you, Suresh. So what you're saying is that the way we can measure our level of handing over the doership is on how much we are affected by praise and blame and criticism and that sort of thing. Yeah.
I give you another good example will be when Edison was doing his bulb, 9,000 over times he failed. And one wonders, how did he go ahead and motivate himself? Because his wife was not in giving support, children was not giving support, because nobody knew what exactly he was doing. And then 9,900, then the bulb came out. What motivated him? So continuously only inspired by the vision that he will give something for the world like a bulb. So what is that inspiration? So actually it is in inspiration that you can forget the world. Inspired work, you forget yourself. You are not bothered about it. You're just activated and you're just doing it. And it is so beautiful to do it and then leave the whole thing to him. So we must all become inspired in our daily life, inspired in the way that we do, because it is inspiration that nobody really cares where the credit goes to or where the praise or the blame comes to. The doership disappears. When we are standing on the realm of instruction and the way that we do, who did the work, I did the work, I am the one who did the thing, it is not, it's because of me only those things took place. So then we get trapped and caught in this jail. That's why I purposely put the jail picture in the Athmic. The moment we are realizing Atma, we are out of the jail. That's it. So who cares? You take the entire credit for heaven's sake. And in fact, this is how even this is not spiritual life. I've scientists have written about over 160, 170 publications, and I've received about 50 national, international awards. All the work that I have done in the field of science was born out of inspiration. The same way. I don't worry about who gets the credit, who don't get the credit. We work like a team and we just work like that. I have applied all my spiritual teachings of Bhagavan in my own field of work and achieve whatever, because that's the best way to work. Be creative, be innovative, just generate all the ideas and let everybody else take the credit. It's okay, no problem. Because you know why? At the end of the day, what do you want? You want the ultimate. What is it? Swami. That's what he said.
Thank you, Suresh. Look, we've just had another question come in. Sure. Can you give any advice on balancing discipline and love?
Yeah, I think this is especially with regard to relationship, managing relationship. So Bhagavan, the way to follow that is use Bhagava's principle. Come, experiment me, experience me, then accept me. So if you want to discipline anyone, you first must ensure that the person whom you're disciplining has received and experienced your love. If you have not given them that love, then you find that the way that you discipline will not get any results. So follow Swami's way of doing it. Come experiment me, experience me, then accept me. You know, before he even gives the instruction, he asks you, he does things, you're so comforted, you're so connected. Only then the discipline part comes in. We need to make sure that these two goes together. Love is like the river, discipline is like the river bank. Without the river bank overflowing, when love is overflowing, you'll find that it'll just creates flood. Dry river with strong river bank is also no use. Both must go hand in hand. So this is how in everything, before we discipline anybody, assess and see. Come, experiment me, experience me. Have you experienced my love? Do you know that I'm saying all these things is because for your own good? Have you seen it? Have you experienced it? Only then do we have the right to create that opportunity for disciplining anyone.
Thank you, Suresh. Look, I've had another question come through. What are the best ways to help make a centre more inclusive, to bring out the best in people, and for a leader to not do everything himself or herself, but to encourage others to become active in that way?
Yeah. So when we're organizing a party for your son, so every member of the family takes part, because everyone feels, hey, okay, you go and get the present. What will you do? I will make sure that the cooking's there, and then you call the friends, and then you decorate the thing. Every one of the children are getting extra work so that everything is nicely done and delegated. So everyone feels an inclusion, and then when the event is over, everyone is celebrating. So in the center, there will be different people, different strengths. One person is so good with sound system, another person is extremely good with decorations, another person is very good with the programming. So if as long as everyone is given certain piece of work and they are duly recognized at the end of the day also, so and so did this work, so and so did that work. It must be a family spirit. In our centers, and most of Malaysian centers here, we always celebrate everybody's birthday, or we celebrate special occasions, for example, anniversary, or we celebrate, what we do is anybody has got any promotion, or then that if it is mentioned, that we make sure. Because why do we do this? Because centers are not members, they're family members. So how a family is seen, as long as we treat every member like a family, then we got a success story in our center. So more and more success stories are seen where centers become family centers. In that spirit, we must bring everyone together. Then everyone comes together feeling that they want to be part of the family. Believe me, when I first came into the Sai movement, I was not so attracted to Swami. Let me tell you, I'll be very honest and frank. Not attracted means I didn't know Swami much, and I was not, okay, I mean, Swamiji, you know Swami and all that. So that was, but I was very attracted to the people. I came inside the center, I saw, my God, this group of people, they're so family orientated, they're always together. It really attracted me, and I was dying to be part of the family, not be part of the Swami and anything else. I just wanted to be part of that energy, part of that family. That was very attractive. And that is what we need to create to attract people, because lots of people in this world want to belong to someone, want to belong to a group of people, want to belong, to be cared, to be loved, to be cherished, to be nourished. If we can provide an environment, I tell you, the center will blossom and grow.
Thank you again, Suresh. Look, we have another question here. Sometimes people say the organisation is just a vehicle in your journey. When a vehicle is broken, then we walk. So the same concept applies to the Sai organisation too. How do you keep emphasising the importance of being part of Swami's organisation for each person's spiritual growth?
So the organization is a vehicle, yes, because the vehicle is teaching us a lot of things. They're teaching us accountability, teaching us responsibility, teaching us awareness, teaching us so many things. The last 20, 30 years, so many different dimensional things that the vehicle has taught me to such an extent that I feel obligated to the vehicle. I feel connected to the vehicle. So even if the vehicle is broken down, it is not broken down, maybe temporarily, but it doesn't necessarily mean I'll use my legs to walk to a mechanic shop and bring another mechanic to repair the vehicle, or make sure that the vehicle continues in a different form or a different way, because this is the vehicle that showed me the direction and showed me and gave me life. Therefore, I am attached, and I want this vehicle to also transport other passengers and benefit them the way that this vehicle has benefited me. So yes, I will do whatever that is possible to make sure that the vehicle continues. And the spirit of the vehicle, I should not diminish. If I get dispirited and uninspired and left out, then the vehicle has not taught me anything. So obligation to the vehicle, because the vehicle is the creation of the teacher anyway. So obligation to the teacher is remain inspired in whatever happens, whatever, continue this journey, because all great journeys always have a lot of hurdles and all. We should learn how to thrive in resistance and thrive in hurdles. That's why the picture, remember I said, when people throw stones, use it to make bridges, or you can use it to make walls. How you interpret that opportunity is up to us. Interpretation of challenges is a very spiritual quality. That's why successful people who are spiritual knows how to change every obstacle into an opportunity.
Thank you, Suresh. So what you're saying is that we can, by attending to the vehicle at all times and giving thanks for the way it's carried us through life, we can use every little breakdown it has as an opportunity to grow spiritually. So this is all part of the plan for us, I suppose.
Yeah. When my mother and father is sick, I don't need to go and change and look for new mother and new father. I need to look after them, isn't it? Because they are the ones who gave me life. So in the same sense, at some points there will be some. So that's why always, how do you make things work? When something is happening, how do you make it work? That is the intelligence that we now need to apply. How can we bring everyone together? What are the new ways in which we can reach out to society and community? Hey, you know something, the point of the story is that if we stand in the challenges, which mean to say in areas that humanity has not gone, take up some of those big challenges and address some of those things in nice, good way. That's it. We already broken new frontiers, and in that particular process, we will be gathering new forces, new ways, and new avenues, and then we will expand Swami's movement in that manner. That's how we should do.
Thank you, Suresh. Look, just one final question, and I guess it's a personal one. How do you feel Swami's presence now, especially after he's left his physical form? That's one question that's just come through to me.
Actually, after his physical form, I feel more connected. In fact, I've been more busy, more connected, because I feel the inspiration. Even now, when I speak to you, I can feel that energy, I can feel that enthusiasm. And moment I finished, this whole morning, I was writing the entire thing for Swami. So a whole day is spent in doing something. It's been phenomenal, because you cannot feel disconnected. How can a fish say, how is life without water? The fish cannot live without the water. The water is Sai, and you're swimming in that Sai. That's all. It's a question of the form had the privilege where we had the connectivity, but now we are not connected with a wire, but we are connected wirelessly everywhere, anywhere. That connection is there at any point of time. So that connectivity is what we need to build up. So when you have that connectivity in your heart, you will feel very inspired. The prompting will come. You do this, make sure you say this, make sure go there. So the prompting will be very strong, and the prompting is what that drives you all the time. And then that element comes in when we keep on doing meditation, keep on purifying, keep on loosening this doership and all that. Hey, at the end of the day, the one that motivates me really is that the greatest motivation is funeral. When you attend people's funeral, one day you will know that we will also be in that same coffin. So in that coffin, if you're going to be there, everything will be taken away. The rewards, the awards, the papers, the books, everything, the post, the position. What will people do? Devotees will come and say, Om Triambakam Jahamahe. Everybody will give you a free lift, and they will guide you. They'll take you to the funeral pyre, and they'll push you into the fire. That's it. So the question is, we just have a couple of years to live in this world, a stage which Bhagavan gave us. By this time, we should redeem our life. How can I get my goal? How can I be liberated? So the teacher is telling us how to do it. So we must become possessed by those ideas and continuously, vigorously work our life and help other people as much as we can. That's it. We're already on our way. And at least in the process, whether we get liberated or not, doesn't matter. But the process is you're enjoying your life. Life is to be enjoyed. Every moment of life should be peaceful, happy. That's what life should be. And that's what a leader, Sai leader must be like that. All the time happy, joyous. And I've seen some people, they tell you, how are you, my God? There's a laugh. The biggest sad question you ask anybody is, how are you, my God? By the time they finish the tragic stories, they'll be where you have to take a Panadol because headache will be so bad. So the point of the story is that be happy, be blissful. Bhagavan is with us. He will guide. That's why any project that we take, we never say no. Swami will do, because you don't have, oh, I have to check the resources. I have to check whether people, we never do all that. We say what work is to be done, we just jump and plunge and do it, because somehow people will come, something will happen, some things will happen. That's why the best thing in life is just let go and let God. That's the best thing to do. Let go and let God. And you are, Swami, you are wisdom, you are strength, you are courage. We just surrender to you. I think this is the attitude leaders must have. Let go, let go, let go. Let Sai come inside. And at every moment, you'll feel inspired.
Wow, thank you, Suresh. Now, do you have any last minute words of advice or encouragement for this group of incoming office bearers, please?
There's only one thing, in the sense that you have no idea what has happened in your previous lives. No idea. The fact that you became into this world and Bhagavan chose us not to be just a devotee, but finally to be a leader. We must have done punya like anything to sit in a position. Please do not for one moment feel and think that I should not have taken this. No, how can I do this so much work? My family is there, my obligation coming. And you feel, I have to do this. I got to do this. Don't do any of these things. It is sit on a roller coaster. Let him guide. So number one, let go. Number two, feel privileged and feel honored that it is an opportunity selected by Bhagavan for you to sit in the chair. That itself is such an honor, because that means that, say, the soul has gone through so many lives. You are now given the mandate to help other souls to guide to God. I always say leader, Swami is he, and her is referred to the individual soul, Jivatma. Her, it is she's. I mean, this is my own perception, so please don't check with any reference. This is how I interpret it. So this is a she, the spirit, and I'm supposed to lead her to him. Swami is him, so I'm supposed to lead her to him. So if you lead her to him, you are a leader. So first definition of a leader is lead your soul to God. Second is help other souls to also go towards God. That's it. So if you can have this and follow this simple, the RISC is very powerful. Are we relevant? Continuously, are you relevant? Am I relevant to the people? Am I relevant to the center? Am I relevant to the organization? But I is what is called, I is the influence, ability to influence. You've got a vision. Can you influence your people? Can you influence with words? Can you influence by your action? Can you influence it just as how Swami influenced all of us? RIS, S is significant. Do things that are significant. Another, do things, if everybody else is doing it, then why should you? Do things that are impactful, significant. And the last one is always have enthusiasm. If you follow this, for RISC, you will be forever rise to the occasion, and the center will rise to the occasion. The organization will rise to the occasion. We don't worry about whether the whole organization goes. In our center, in our unit, if we can rise, make it rise, the whole organization will go up. Each of us should focus on our own individual work and make that the best excellent piece, and do it in the spirit of Yajna. Om Swaha. Yajna spirit means in the sacrificial spirit. We should do that work and dedicate it to God and redeem our lives.
Thank you so much, Suresh. And just as a final comment, I just wanted to thank you. You have fulfilled the request we made of you, and you have given us an example of leadership in terms of your session today: relevance, influence, significance, and enthusiasm. So thank you so much, and we'll look forward to another contact with you in the future. So Sai Ram, and thank you, Suresh.